Hello students, we had started with biological classification, and in that we completed the kingdom system classification, kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista. Today we are going to start with kingdom fungi. Who are included in kingdom fungi? The mushrooms that we eat are fungi. The common bread mold, the patches that we see on stale oranges. Fungal colonies will also be spotted on food items that have been kept in the refrigerator for prolonged periods. If you have ever caught prickly heat, then the prickly heat is because of fungi, yeast. Idli dosa batter, if you know, it is kept overnight for fermentation. The organisms that bring about the fermentation and which rises the level of the dough, making it nice and airy to be used as idli or dosa batter, it is because of the action of a unicellular fungus which is called yeast. The bread dough has been acted upon by yeast, which makes it nice and soft and fluffy. So these are the different organisms that are included in fungi. If you remember, in two kingdom classification, the fungi were placed under kingdom Plantae. Why were they placed under Plantae? What made them similar to Plantae? Let us analyze. Why would have Linnaeus placed them under Plantae? Because they are like plants. Plant is also stationary at one place. Fungi are also stationary at one place. Plants also grow roots and absorb nutrients. Fungi also send their roots and absorb nutrients. Okay, this one also has a cell wall. Fungus also has a cell wall. So these are the similarities of the fungus with the plants. But there are some differences because of which they were eventually separated, isn't it? So what are the differences between plants and fungi? Plants, they have a cell wall, but it is made up of cellulose. In fungi, they have a cell wall, but it is made up of another substance called as chitin. Next difference, plants have chlorophyll in them and they are autotrophic in nature. Fungi do not have chlorophyll in them, and that's why they are non-photosynthetic. They are heterotrophic in nature. Okay, they will only absorb the ready-made nutrients from the place on which they grow, right? So plants are chlorophyllous and these are achlorophyllous. Next, any other difference? Plants are very complex. They have differentiation until organ system organization, but these are simple tissues. Whitaker called it loose tissue organization that they have. They are multicellular, alright, but it will not be like a proper tissue. It will be like a very primitive form of a tissue, okay? Loose tissue organization, wherein the cells are just joined together, not really making it a tissue. Multicellular forms mainly, but there are unicellular forms as well. Like I told you, they are called yeast. So let us write down about them. Kingdom fungi. Fungi are achlorophyllous without chlorophyll, heterotrophic, eukaryotic. Are they eukaryotic? Yes, all are eukaryotic. Spore producing. They produce spores. Plants also produce spores, by the way. Pollen grains are spores only, and fungi also produce spores, so both are spore producing. And thalloid organisms. Thalloid means loose tissue organization of body. Thalloid organisms. They are said to be cosmopolitan in nature. Cosmopolitan, important word from NCERT. Cosmopolitan means found in many places such as air, water, soil, other plants and animals. Cosmopolitan, this word is used for fungi, and another word called ubiquitous, which is there in NCERT somewhere, it is used for Monera. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means found everywhere, and cosmopolitan means found in many places. However, they love hot and humid places, especially warm and humid places. They show great diversity. In morphology. Morphology means structure, which you will see in this kingdom as we study further. Different variety of structures are produced by fungi, plus habitat, right? Next we are looking at their habit, which can be also called as their nutrition. Most of the fungi that we know are saprophytic in nature. This is the most common nutrition and habit. The fungi that are saprophytic are always free living. An example is Rhizopus. Rhizopus is the common black bread mold. Next type of nutrition that is seen is parasitic. Some fungi don't live as saprophytic forms or free living forms. They want to grow on other organisms and derive nutrition from them. That's called parasitic nutrition and parasitic habit. An example is Puccinia graminis. Puccinia graminis, this fungus grows on wheat plant and cause a disease in the wheat plant which is called the rust of wheat, very important. Causes disease, wheat rust or rust of wheat. Okay? And the third type of nutrition that is seen in fungi is symbiotic nutrition. In symbiotic nutrition, the fungus will grow on other organism and derive nutrients from it. However, it will give back also certain things to the host. In fact, you don't call the other organism as its host, it's its symbiotic partner. One example is lichens, wherein the fungus lives in association with algae. It lives in and around algae and derive nutrition from the algae. However, it gives back to the algae as well, as in lichens. What does it give back? Algae are photosynthetic in nature, so fungi will absorb the nutrients from the algae. And what will it give back? It will absorb the nutrients from the soil and from the periphery, and it will provide those nutrients to the algae to be used for synthesis of food. Alright, so that is lichens. We will be studying lichens in some detail. Example, lichens with algae. And second example is mycorrhizae, wherein the fungus lives in association with the roots of higher plants. In this case, it will live along with the roots of the higher plants, and its fungal hyphae will reach places wherein the roots could not reach, and they will absorb the nutrients and bring for the plants, and the plants in return will provide it with ready-made food. Mycorrhizae. Alright? Symbiotic association. So these are the different types of nutrition / habitats. Next, size. Fungi are usually classified as microorganisms because their size is really small. However, there are some macroscopic fungi as well. For example, the mushrooms that we eat, these are macroscopic multicellular fungi. So their size ranges from the unicellular yeast till the multicellular mushrooms. Size unicellular. Unicellular is very less common, and all are called, they are called yeasts. This is not the name of a genus. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is an example of a yeast. Candida albicans is another example of a yeast. Not in this lesson, in NCERT. They can be multicellular as well. For example, rhizopus that I just told you about is multicellular. Other than that, there is the mushrooms. An example of a mushroom is Agaricus bisporus, the one that we eat normally. Have you ever eaten a mushroom that looks like this? Agaricus campestris. Not there in NCERT right now. It's not there. Next, we look at the reserve food material. In plants, the reserve food material is starch. In animals, the reserve food material is glycogen and fats. What about fungi, this eukaryotic kingdom? The reserve food material is glycogen plus oil. Next, ploidy. What is meant by ploidy? Whether haploid or diploid. Number of sets of chromosomes that the organism has defines its ploidy. For instance, humans have 2 sets of chromosomes, 23 plus 23, isn't it? So we are called 2N. What about the monerans? They had just a single chromosome, if you remember, and they were haploid organisms. Protistans, some of them were haploid, some were diploid. What about fungi? For fungi, these are always haploid. Single set of chromosomes inside the nucleus. They have a eukaryotic nucleus but a single set of chromosomes. They are always haploid and thallus. Thallus means loose tissue organization. Monerans are also haploid. Protists, haploid or diploid, but these are always haploid. Fungi are also called as heterotrophic plants. They are like plants only, but heterotrophic plants, not autotrophic plants. Also called as heterotrophic plants. We had discussed certain differences between plants and fungi. Yeah, what was the first point? That these are chlorophyllous, these are achlorophyllous. Next, these are autotrophic. Plants are autotrophic, fungi are cell wall, cellulose. Cell wall for fungi is chitin. These are also sedentary. These are also sedentary. Okay, so these are some similarities and differences between plants and fungi. Clear?
महादेव के नाम पे सब्सक्राइब कर दें।